Hello, this is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, and today is Friday, June 13th, 2025. And I have not heard any comments about Friday the 13th. Anyway, here in Lexington, Kentucky, on the east coast of the United States, currently the temperature is 74, feels like 74. A high today will be of 82. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms, highs in the low 80s and lows in the upper 60s. Storms likely this afternoon with a 68% chance after 12 noon. Here's one, since we're into the warmer weather and people are going to the beach. Some popular swimsuit colors unsafely blend in with water. If that's of interest to you, you're welcome to follow up. Ragweed pollen decreasing tomorrow. Temperatures a little lower than yesterday, down by 6 degrees. Today, sunrise was at 6:14 a.m. Sunset will be at 9:01 p.m. UV currently is low. The AQI is moderate at 61. Wind 4 miles per hour and pollen is high. There have been an ongoing amount of flooding due to rain. And in San Antonio, at least 5 dead, 2 are missing after devastating flash floods. So, here we are on Friday, June 13th, 2025. And there's been, to me, a fair amount of activity in the news over the past several days. Let's see if I can just review some of this right quick. Starting from the top, get myself in order if you don't mind. Over the last several days, U.S. on high alert after Russia deploys $270 million nuclear bomber 400 miles from the coast. This was an interesting one because I think in an earlier broadcast of the sideshow, I had mentioned that in Alaska, on this side over here, and on this side, corresponds with the Russian border. So what has happened is this, because of Ukraine's continued assault on strategic positions and things near Moscow, Russians decided to move this particular plane or set of planes further away, which brought it closer to the Alaskan border. And 400 miles for a jet or a bomber is not really that far because their average, well, Air Force One can do 600 miles per hour. So planes of lesser capacity and not of that design usually average around 400. So you see it's like a hop, skip, and a jump from Alaska. So U.S. has put their eyes on the situation. And Gainesville woman charged with rape after allegedly buying drinks for victim and manipulating him into returning home with her. This was interesting. The man spoke directly to the point that he was not interested in her in a romantic way. She continued to, pursue his company, and it was kind of like a group setting. And one thing led to another where she ended up being incapacitated, threatened to drive herself into a wall or something of that nature if he didn't go with her. So anyway, got to her place. She drugged the man. And it was confirmed that she did rape him. So she is charged with rape. Sly Stone, pioneering funk musician, dead at 82. All of us remember "Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself" as one of his hits. So Sly had Sylvester Stallone had underlying health conditions, which also contributed to his health issues. And continuing with the Diddy trial, new audio evidence rocks the Diddy trial. Then battle rapper is heard allegedly threatening his girlfriend over the phone. And then former Diddy assistant alleges Combs sexually assaulted her while working for him. Trump asks why he thinks he can arrest Gavin Newsom, says he committed crime of running for governor. Whoopi Goldberg shocks the view into silence by claiming Trump and Musk feud is fake. Now this one, life in prison is too good for this kind of evil. Florida man completely severed 2-year-old girl's spine after argument with her mother. Terror threat against Trump and Vance. Fox News abruptly cuts from rambling Trump speech just as he calls for a doctor at Fort Bragg. Apparently someone in the audience was in duress or distress, and Trump asked, was there a doctor in the house? Someone spoke up and went over to attend to the person. You're not going to do it. Man shot roommate dead with AR-15 style firearm after arguing about living arrangements. 250 each. Fed linked Lexington gang to assassination of federal witness. Nappy Roots headline Heart of Kentucky Juneteenth Festival on June 21. Juneteenth Street Revival starts. And no one was safe during Kevin Hart's 2025 BET Awards monologue. There will be no after parties. Take yourselves home. Go home. There's no after parties. And the cameraman panning over the audience, they were like speechless. They didn't know whether he was, just talking or whether he actually meant it. He said, no, we learning people. Go home. So that's how that went. This is no joke. Judge scolds teen brothers aged 13 and 14 for allegedly shooting at partygoers and then bragging about it on Instagram. Kentucky man known as Cowboy Cody released raccoon into packed restaurant in misguided revenge attempt. She'll be suing him in the future. Controversial star Chris Brown causes a scene after he passionately kisses fan on stage. Now, just days ago, Chris was incarcerated outside the country, awaiting trial, and was allowed to post bail because he had a tour commitment to make, and now he's excited again. The View's Whoopi Goldberg sends warning to Mike Johnson after he said Gavin Newsom should be tarred and feathered. That's what they did to black people all through the United States. So that's just a small rundown of what's been going on over the past couple of days. So let's get into the news for today. Number 1. Florida sheriff warns rioters ahead of immigration protest. We're not California. We will kill you. and tell your family where to collect your remains. I think it would be prudent for me to pass on this information immediately. Florida's Bedford County Sheriff Wayne Ivey issued a harsh warning on Thursday, June 12th, to protesters and rioters ahead of state's anti-ICE immigration protest. So, caution. Next one, what dictators do. Republicans who once trashed Trump's $45 million military parade idea now scramble to avoid talking about it. Former President Donald Trump's long-desired military parade is finally becoming a reality on June 14th, tomorrow. Excuse me, a $100 million event critics say reeks of pure dictatorship, coinciding with both Flag Day and his 79th birthday. I will add this comment. It's been proven that before he was won the election, that Donald Trump was facing multiple federal charges and convictions and was just that shy of being sentenced. But a pattern has emerged, established by Letitia James in New York, AG, to put it in layman's terms, that he has a habit of acquiring businesses and then virtually running them into the ground and then declaring bankruptcy. So, I'll leave you to your thoughts on that one. It has been said that government is business. Next one is going to be a nightmare for Boston for the rest of their life. Brandon Jennings warns the Celtics not to trade Jaylen Brown. Wannabe terrorist from Canada planned attack in New York because he could rack up easily a lot of Jews. Mohammed Shahzib Khan, 20, also known as Shahzib Jadoum, was extradited to the U.S. June 10 and appeared in court June 11. He is charged with attempting to provide material support and resources to a designated foreign terrorist organization, FTO, the Islamic State of Iraq and al-Sham, ISIS, and attempting to commit acts of terrorism transcending national boundaries, according to U.S. Justice Department. Next one, number 5 in the news. I will murder that stupid expletive. Trump and Vance assassination threat suspect said if POTUS or VP came back to Michigan, they'd leave in a body bag, feds say. The suspect, James Donald Vance Jr., not to be confused with current Vice President James David Vance, was taken into custody this week and charged with 1 count of threatening to kill or injure the President and Vice President of the United States, and 2 counts of sending an interstate threatening communication, court records show. Next one, a new study found that parents, especially dads, aren't talking to their teens about what happens after high school. Well, I guess timing is everything, isn't it? Next one in the news. Federal agencies were reportedly tracking foreigners visiting with Musk, afraid they were trying to influence the mogul. Boeing's Air Force One production is facing continued delays because the manufacturer can't consistently hire and retain mechanics. Boeing's Air Force One project has fallen behind schedule and billions of dollars over budget amid continued labor and design hiccups, the Government Accountability Office said in a report this week. Ongoing design issues, modification rework, and workforce challenges are still plaguing the manufacturer. The Trump administration has resorted to procuring a $400 million jet from Qatar to serve as interim Air Force One. I think I commented on that earlier. They are sending the jet, and it will be modified here in the United States. So, on to our top stories. Number one, exclusive. Trump administration tells migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela their legal status is terminated. Again, we get into these nuances between immigrants and migrants, and this has been issued by Homeland Security. Antonio Brown is wanted for murder, attempted murder, based on events that happened at a boxing event in Miami. So apparently some words were passed between Antonio Brown and another man. Antonio Brown hit the man. I guess the crowd got to moving again. Antonio Brown somehow or another acquired a handgun, and subsequently several shots were fired. Authorities came into it, questioned him, he explained it, and at that time no arrests were made. I guess as things followed up, then he's currently being charged with attempted murder and out on $10,000 bond. Diddy's ex-girlfriend Jane testifies about violent brawls. Third and final day on witness stand for cross-examination. This is one of the few times, I think, in this person's testimony, if I'm correct, she stated that one time she, however she managed it, slammed Diddy's head into a marble countertop. So that's unusual. Next one, is Meta really spending $15 billion to hire a 28-year-old? An acqui-hire is traditionally a deal in which a small startup with limited prospects sells itself to a bigger player, which is usually more interested in the company's employees than the business. Oftentimes, the acquired company stops making whatever it was trying to sell once the deal closes. So Meta's been working with this company that collaborates for AI data, and this young man is 28 years old, and it seems like the deal is for $15 billion. All right. The last time $15 billion was mentioned in regards to Meta was when Zuckerberg was in front of Congress and they were fined him $5 billion for violating whatever laws were applicable at the time. And he declared a $15 billion earnings. Time goes by. Repicking 2025 NBA Finals, experts make new predictions after Pacers take 2-1 lead versus still favored Thunder. That's true. Thunder was favored, and I mentioned it, that sports commentators were all over the Pacers, the East Coast, and the Pacers went over the Cavaliers and so forth and so on. So now, with the 2-1 lead, like it or not, statistics show that 80% of the time, that's the team that wins in the finals. So what you do with the other 20%, excuse me, is up to you. Continuing, Trump merchandise sold at Fort Bragg for president's speech now under review. The practice is likely at odds with long-standing Defense Department policy, which prohibits troops from wearing political garb such as hats or flags or expressing their political opinion while in uniform. Next one. Watch Me Whip Nene rapper Cemento gets 30 years for manslaughter of cousin. Cemento, the Atlanta rapper best known for the viral 2015 hit Watch Me Whip Nene, was sentenced to 30 years in prison Wednesday after pleading guilty but mentally ill in the 2021 shooting death of his cousin in Georgia. Mentally ill part. He had been prescribed medications for ADHD and several other things based on what he says was having been born with a lot of illegal drugs in his system, which contributed to his ongoing depression throughout his life. Besides the situation with his cousin, who was shot multiple times, there was another incident where he was charged with threatening, threatening neighbors with a deadly weapon, not a firearm. So anyhow, he went into somebody's house that he didn't even know. I believe it was a man and a woman with a hatchet and threatened them. So he's had this things that keep popping up where he is not shown a clear line of thinking in regards to his choices. So now he's facing 30 years for the manslaughter death of his cousin. Next one, Trump wants Iran to agree to a deal before there is nothing left. And this one it's kind of funny, but science is science. Harvard researchers released from federal custody following accusations of smuggling frog embryos. And here's the thing. The Russian scientist was the only specialist who could analyze images from a microscope that could transform cancer research, her colleagues said. I didn't expect that one. And then number 10 on the top stories, Costco worker worries new early store hours will be an absolute nightmare. So this is for executives coming in at 9 a.m. And one worker who did not want to be identified said they expect more work with the same people, but don't want to put any more money into it. So that's Costco's latest thing. So here we are on Friday. Again, I'm Theodore Parker. This is a side show heading into the weekend. So if we get through the weekend, which we will do, but after we get through the weekend, we'll see how things look on Monday. That's it. Hashtag